I've gotten so many different things over the year. I'm just like, great. I don't have their money.
One day,
Exactly.
one day.
One day when Bitcoin is at 1 million and Leo's at $10.
Yeah, I mean that day might be coming pretty soon with LeoDex officially going live today.
Well, I will not even feel bad about saying I don't know that I'll ever see $10 Leo because shit, once we see $1, I'm going to be locking in some gains.
Yeah. See, did you sell Bitcoin at 5K?
I did not sell Bitcoin at 5K.
Yeah, I
The
mean
funny
everyone's got
part is
to do
actually,
what makes sense for them. I mean, there's going to be I remember someone was chatting about this recently too, like, what happens on the way up is like there's certain people that hold a lot of Leo and that's
yeah,
that's a part of the game. Like stake moves around and some people sell at 5 cents, some people sell at 10 cents, some people sell at 20. It's actually healthy when people sell, especially the ones like you, Addicted, you know One Alpha and others who have a lot of Leo. Like it's a healthy thing for them to sell on the way up. That's how you spread stake around. That's how it proliferates. You want stake to be in his, and this is something Taskmaster, I see him in the audience right now. He's talked about this a lot, over the years on Hive. Seeing stake slowly spread out and proliferate to a wider user base is a good thing. You want to see the rise of like I think he called it like the rise of the middle class on Hive, something like that. You ultimately want to see stakes spread out. So I have no problem with, people selling on the way up and stuff like that. I actually think it's a really good thing. And I actually was buying, I had to buy about 500,000 Leo for to seed the new pool, which is, by the way, live as of today. It's been live for a few days. We'll talk about all the launch stuff and the fun details of how this launch has gone. Today is the official launch day of everything, so we'll get into that. But I had to buy about 500,000 Leo for this launch and to see the Leo cacao pool on Maya. And it was super hard to buy. It was like, I spent basically like 2 weeks buying the Leo very slowly. And I had to buy it in all of the places, B Leo, P Leo, Wrapped Leo, and then Leo on B Swap slash Hive Engine. So it definitely was a process to get 500,000 Leo. She goes to show how tough the liquidity is. I think 70% of all Leo is staked. So it's pretty hard to get your hands on a bunch of Leo without making a significant price impact.
facts.
Um, but welcome everybody. This is the official LeoDex launch party. So right when we went live, I actually hit publish on the blog post that announces LeoDex. And uh we it's been a really interesting launch. I'd like to like we kind of planned it out that it would all kind of go live at the same time. V109 on Maya would go live, the Leo pool would go live, and then LeoDex would also go live, and we'd do it all simultaneously. What ended up happening was V109 rolled out on Maya like 2 weeks later than we expected it to. uh, Obviously, that wasn't, the worst thing in the world because it gave us a little extra time to make LeoDex a better UI. So we've made, significant improvements every single extra day that we've had. I mean, even today I was working all morning on a bunch of updates with the devs, and there's been probably about a dozen updates rolled out like literally this morning to fix a bunch of things and add some new features and make things ultimately a little bit more usable. So I would say every day there's like anywhere from 5 to 12 things that get uh pushed to LeoDex right now. We're making really fast progress on a bunch of things. So if you've used it at all during the last week of like kind of closed unannounced, basically it's been like closed unannounced beta on LeoDex the past week so that we could kind of get some early feedback and fix a bunch of stuff. So some of you guys have been using it. I think there's probably about a dozen or so, maybe 15 people that have been using LeoDex, here and there, and giving us feedback on it. And then we did a big bugathon yesterday with a bunch of community members who helped us find and fix a bunch of different bugs on the UI. So it's been kind of like this closed beta in the past week. like I said, V109 was about 2 weeks later than we thought it would be. And then when V109 rolled out, it turned out that the pools had to get seeded on day one. So we seeded the pool. You had to seed it with a minimum of like 10,000 cacao. So we seeded it with the 10,000 cacao. And then it took another day for them to enable trading on the seeded pools. And this type of stuff wasn't like really discussed or known. So we didn't know or like we weren't even able to plan for it. So then it took another day. So it was like seed day one. Then you had to wait a day for trading to get enabled. Then trading got enabled. But once trading was enabled, that was the first time we actually got to test Arbitrum swaps on LeoDex. So then it took a couple days for us to actually go through the process of like testing Arbitrum swaps, seeing how it all worked. And we were actually the first Maya UI, even though we were like unannounced, not yet actually live. We were the first Maya UI to actually integrate Arbitrum swaps. So I think Eldorado integrated Arbitrum swaps a couple days ago, maybe 3, 4 days ago. Cacao swap I saw just the other day. And the UIs are kind of slowly catching up and adding Arbitrum. But LeoDex, we actually got Arbitrum swaps working on day one when the Leo pool went live. Obviously, because with our token being on Arbitrum, we wanted to focus on that. So we got that live pretty quickly. We've been working through the bugs the past week. So that's like the timeline of how this all kind of rolled out. Is you guys remember last AMA, I kind of secretly gave you guys the URL for LeoDex and just said, play around with it if you want. But it's not officially live yet. Um, there's something to be said for being first. Yeah, for once we were actually more than on time. We were early for once with some stuff. But obviously, we have to wait for certain things to happen, and we couldn't test the Hive aggregator either until the Arbitrum Leo pool was live because obviously the end part of the swap requires that pool is live. So as of right now, uh, LeoDex has a ton of features that are currently live. There are some that are not live yet. So one of them being various Hive routes are not yet live. So for example, you can sell Hive into every token that's listed on Maya except for Leo, ironically. You can't go from Hive to Leo on LeoDex yet, but you can go from Hive to any other token on Maya currently. Um, and that is the only Hive route that is live right now. So we're testing it. We actually the dev just pinged me that we just pushed a fix for something we found this morning that was kind of preventing certain Hive swaps from going through. It was related to the fee when you go from Hive to swap.hive. So anyways, that's been fixed. And we're going to be focusing on, kind of refining that route for Hive. And then once that is like fully refined, then we're going to launch the reverse, which will be buying Hive with any assets listed on Maya. And then once we've got that, then we'll look into doing HBD, SPS, and DEC. Those will get listed on LeoDex as well through the Hive aggregator that we built. Taskmaster asked, what about XDeFi? We have XDeFi in the dev environment, but until we swap with this is the crazy thing about this type of technology is like when we build something for this, we have to actually test every single variant of it. So we've got XDeFi, and now we have to test every single swap and every single pool action with all the different tokens before I'm comfortable pushing it to the live UI for you guys to start, kind of like open testing with XDeFi. So I would say XDeFi probably by sometime next week, hopefully sooner. I said last AMA that we would have it like by the end of the day, and we actually did get it done by the end of the day. But like I said, I want to see some pretty hardcore testing of it before we give it to you guys. So for
So
right now, it's key
to add
stores.
to add to that, obviously, and I mean that's an update for me because I gave up. Me and XD5 have not been getting along, but it might be more so a browser thing. So I stopped fighting with it because I couldn't get much to show up. But I do see all the things in MetaMask. So obviously MetaMask is next in line. So I'm assuming it's gonna be the same process with MetaMask. So XDFi essentially will get where it needs to be, and then at that point, the same process in terms of prepping for MetaMask will happen. Is that kind of what it's going to look like, or no?
Once we have XDeFi, it will be pretty simple to add MetaMask.
Cool. I mean,
So
because yeah, I mean, obviously, I want to start using LeoDex ASAP, and I connected to it through a key store and stuff like that. But as far as transactionally, I
yeah, I
already
mean,
know it's going to be
I still think it's a superior experience to move like when you're gonna do a swap, you have MetaMask, you have XDeFi, move the like let's say you're gonna swap, 1,000 USDC and you've got it in your MetaMask. I like personally, this is how I like to use even other like Thorchain type of UIs. Move the USDC into a key store. So you have your key store address, you move it there, and then you do the swap. And then after you do the swap, you send it back to your MetaMask or your hardware wallet or whatever,
smart.
which is also just a good security practice. But
Well, yeah, it's a layer of security. So
right,
for, and this kind of touches into a lot of things we need to start doing, which I have housekeeping items later, so we can also get the word out on all the other uh, outlets, so to speak, um, that you do, so people can be informed, like chain chatter and such. But anyway, I digress. So, with that said, for anyone that's listening that's never done a key store, what's the easiest way to get started with a key store? Like, what resource can they use
you
to
can.
essentially have that key store?
We built it into LeoDex, so you can use LeoDex to create a key store, and it's
Perfect.
super easy. Um,
Nice.
and so also I'll share this link. The docs for LeoDex are now live. Start in the- Let me just get the link for you guys.
RTFD, RTFD.
Yeah, RTFD. So I just posted a link for the docs. Um, so the docs are now live. Uh,
Where are the docs?
and in those docs, you'll see that there is a section for community tutorials under tutorials and then click community tutorials. By the way, these docs, we went for like ultimate simplicity on the docs. They're meant to be super straight forward to the point, concise. So if you look at the docs, it's like it could take 5 minutes to read the entire docs. And I would recommend checking it out, especially like the Leo token page. If you're curious about the kind of tokenomics behind what is being done here, these docs are also meant to be a little bit more outward facing. So they're not, really inward facing towards you guys. They're more meant to target people who don't know about Leo, don't know about LeoDex, don't know about INLEO, don't know about Hive. That's what these docs are meant to kind of target. So like I said, you can click the different tabs to kind of get more information. But if you go under tutorials and then community tutorials, the first tutorial under that section, I'll share the link, um, is a tutorial by Nifty on how to create a key store using LeoDex. And it's like stupidly easy. So definitely recommend checking it out. Um,
Yeah, Nifty did a bunch of tutorials. I saw like at least three that he posted.
Yeah, so the docs have 5 of his tutorials listed there, which he's done
Nice.
how to create a key store, how to use the Arbitrum gas faucet that we built, how to swap tokens, how to add liquidity to the pools, and then how to swap Hive on LeoDex. So he's done those. I think he's doing more. I may do a couple too when I get some free time. Um,
Which I mean, you know, for anyone out there that feels the urge to do a tutorial post, obviously there's no guarantees, but what I've noticed is the tutorial posts that have been done have received much upvotes. So
they
if you
will.
if you want the potential at a juicy upvoted post, tutorials will put the odds in your favor. Obviously, no guarantees that it will get voted or seen, but much better odds of getting some tasty upvotes, posting tutorials over the next couple weeks. And
Yeah,
that's
if
just
you
from
post any
what
content
I've seen.
about LeoDex, especially right now during the launch, we will be curating it pretty heavily. Um, we're looking for feedback. We're looking for, general ideas around it, maybe what you think should be coming in the future. Tutorials like what Nifty's been doing. all of the things about LeoDex will help. This is brand new technology, and it's something that a lot of hivers, a lot of you guys in the audience right now have never used or experienced. And a lot of people on Hive just in general have never experienced. And especially given the fact that Hive swaps are live now, people are going to need a lot of help. So definitely make some good tutorials and spread the word. And we will support you, which, kind of on similar lines, Leo.voter now has, I think about 4.5 million Hive power delegated to it. We built the whole delegation model with tiers. We built the dashboard where you can manage your delegations. And before we built that, we had about 2 million Hive power delegated to Leo.voter, and now we've doubled that to 4.5 million. So our ability to reward you guys has doubled. So create the content, get the upvotes. I think a 100% upvote from Leo.voter is like $200 now. So um, definitely been growing, and I think we're
Damn,
going to see
that's
that happen.
wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people
And
are liking the dashboard and the consistent payouts and the different tiers that you can get.
apparently Cat did all the tutorials back in the day at the wrong time. He needs to be doing tutorials now.
It's
I did
twice
a
as
bunch
profitable to do tutorials
back in
now.
the day. Did a bunch back in Cub launch and some other stuff.
Um,
Too funny.
yeah, good time to do tutorials for sure.
Well, Nifty got most of them covered already. Maybe I'll wait for MetaMask to go live.
Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling that there's going to be some people that wait for certain things to go live, and I mean that's totally fine. But like I said, crypto is about learning new things and trying new things and
Yeah,
not getting too stuck in any sort of thing.
yeah,
I don't even like MetaMask anymore. I never use it.
that's funny. I'm honestly, I have, well, I actually uninstalled it out of frustration, but I've had XDFi on and off for the last, I don't know, year and a half, and I still actually like MetaMask better. I don't enjoy XDFi's UI. I understand, obviously, like I can do more with it, and that's why I have it for the stuff that I can't essentially use MetaMask for, but I don't enjoy their UI experience at all. I don't know why, but everyone's got their preferences. I know on a whole, it's a more complete wallet, but
Right. Well, I think when you start getting familiar with the XDFi interface, you realize how much better it is. It is just a superior interface. I really
yeah, in
don't
terms of the
think.
options and everything, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, MetaMask can connect you only to EVM chains. Like this is the biggest thing too. MetaMask only can connect you to EVM chains. XDeFi can connect you to every chain
Yep.
or virtually every chain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've got
I
that gas
personally,
tank feature coming soon. Yeah, and their team,
oh,
I'm
that's
actually in a
cool.
group chat with their team about some stuff. And their team is just really awesome, really attentive, and just, they're ultimately I think just a lot better than MetaMask. And I've seen them eating market share from MetaMask, and I think that trend is just going to keep happening. It's just so much better.
For sure. It's a much more complete wallet.
Zaya said Leo team is updating LeoDex very fast. Every day, a bunch of updates. Yeah, we are, like I said earlier, we're pushing like 5 to 12 updates a day in terms of like bug fixes, new features. Um, we've got a lot of manpower on LeoDex right now to make it kind of, our goal is to make the easiest to use, cleanest, best designed Maya protocol interface that's out there. Nifty already said that he thinks we're already miles ahead. Um, and I'm really happy with how things are right now, but I also can see kind of the roadmap of what is coming, and you guys are gonna be blown away by what we churn out with this interface. It's pretty incredible. Like I said, only one of the Hive routes is live right now. We've been adding a bunch more features. To the interface, and like a new pooling page just went live yesterday, um, that allows you to manage your pool positions. So tons of features continually getting rolled out. And that trend is only going to continue. One interesting thing I've been seeing lately too depending on, price dynamics and some other things, um, I've been looking at the Hive swaps, like Hive to, let's say Rune or Cacao, for example. And a lot of times you can actually swap at a profit compared to the centralized exchange prices of Hive. So like, for example, yesterday I did a swap and it was like, I think like almost 1% higher than the centralized exchange price of Hive. So I was able to swap Hive into Cacao, and literally get 1% more than I would have gotten if I sent the Hive to, say Binance, for example, sold it there for USDT, and then did something with it. And that's also considering all the fees included, versus a centralized exchange where I would have had to withdraw that crypto at some point and paid another fee on top of the trading fees and whatnot. So, as the pools get deeper, the Leo Cacao pool is seeded right now with $85,000. Um, and we're going to drop the last 15,000 in there today, from like the original 100K seed amount. As that pool gets deeper, you're going to be able to do bigger and bigger Hive swaps, and those Hive swaps will have more efficient pricing. So, our goal is to really, and I put it in the post that just went live. Our goal is to capture at least 10% of Hive centralized trading volume, by 2025, like the end of 2025. That would be about $7 million a month that we aggregate through LeoDex and Maya protocol, using that Leo Cacao pool. I really think we can capture 10% of that market. Um, you know, there's a lot of things going for us in that mission statement. Hivers are very decentralized, very focused on decentralization in general. So I think once this is working and it's working really well and, the pricing is efficient, I think the majority of hivers are going to be inclined to use it, for a lot of different reasons. And obviously, the birth of Hive was literally birthed out of a fight against centralized exchanges. So the kind of backstory of Hive is actually like a very cool story that I think we can, kind of start portraying to Maya community members and, Thorchain community members, and kind of this whole like decentralized exchange movement that's popping up, and proliferating. We can really talk about how Hive was just completely birthed out of this, like, Justin Sun came to Binance and Bittrex and these big centralized exchanges, and they all essentially colluded to control the witnesses on Hive, which was obviously called Steam back then. And in that, they were able to, basically take control of the Steam blockchain. And then Hive was forked by the entire community, who obviously didn't agree with what they were doing. So, the entire mission of like Maya and Thorchain is, fight the centralized exchanges, gain market share from them. And the birthing story of Hive is literally fight the exchanges. They suck and they have too much power. So there's a very like cohesive bond that is possible between these communities. And I'm really excited that Leo is able to kind of bring that together through the aggregator.
Indeed. And scrolling questions, and I just lost the two that I noted because I clicked on something. But yeah, I think the you know, Hive community and the Thorchain community are very, I guess, similar in terms of perspective and whatnot.
Yeah, the Maya, and Maya obviously was kind of birthed within the Thorchain community, and a lot of, big players there are big backers and supporters of Maya and the vision of what Maya can achieve. Um, so it is very much a, positive and cohesive community within the cross-chain DEX space as well. Like, Maya and Thorchain and those two communities. You can see like, I mean, at first you might look at it and be like, wait, is Maya a competitor of Thorchain? Like, are they trying to compete? And then when you start to kind of get in the community and talk with different people within it, you realize that they are very like, they're very much like collaborators in this fight against centralized exchanges, which I think is really cool. It's something that I think is kind of rare in crypto, where you have a lot of tribalism, you have a lot of people who are like, you're either a Bitcoiner or you're a shitcoiner or you've got Ethereum or whatever. The big difference there is that with these cross-chain dexes in the Maya community and the Thorchain community, they're very much just aligned that the correct vision is it's us versus centralized exchanges. And I absolutely love that. And most of you guys know, if you've been watching these AMAs and kind of following my blog, for years now, creating different environments within these decentralized exchanges, trying to get Hive onto Dexes, trying to get Leo onto Dexes. This has always been like a huge vision and mission for me, because I am a firm believer in decentralized exchanges and ultimately the power that centralized exchanges have over the crypto market really scares me in a lot of ways. And I just want to see that move into I really want to see that move out into decentralized exchanges like Maya, like Thorchain. I think that's where the trading volume belongs. And I think it's a lot healthier for the ecosystem to have these protocols in place. And Nifty just said it's CACAO's first
Yeah,
birthday today, um, which I actually
funny.
saw yesterday. They were talking about it in the Maya Mondays with Maya episode that they do. Um, so wish Cacao a happy birthday. And while you do so, you can now pool in the Leo Cacao pool.
I know I'm gonna have to. I think I'm gonna start a fresh keychain, key store because I have an existing one, but I think I'm gonna create a fresh one through LeoDex so I can get around to pooling because my plan was to pool and I was prepping myself to pool, and then I was just like, kind of was like, I'll just wait for XD5, but then obviously that's gonna take a minute still, and me and XD5 been fighting anyway, so good old key store. Maybe I'll do a tutorial on
Yeah, and
running a key store
if you've
and
got some Hive,
pooling.
it is so easy for you to get some cacao now. You can literally go to the UI, swap some Hive straight into cacao.
Sweet. Well, what about, can you swap? I'm assuming yes, obviously, because it's the pool. Because I wrapped a chunk of Leo with the plans of basically using that Leo, like selling half for cacao and then
Yeah.
pooling Leo and cacao.
Yeah, go to leodex.io and then
Yeah,
put Leo in the top, put cacao in the bottom, split it in half, and then pool it.
that was the plan.
Yeah, you can definitely do that.
I'll do it. I'll create a key store and do it from there. Because, like I said, at this point, I won't wait for XD5. I'll just get it done. Cool, cool. What do we got?
Test.
I'll have task. How long till these numbers move up?
Yeah, I was just
Honestly,
reading
not
that.
very long. Like I was showing that to I was talking to a few crypto guys that aren't as active anymore um on Discord, and I was telling them, about the Maya protocol, and I was also just like, dude, look at these numbers. I'm like, we can be in the top three in no time flat because, outside of like three players, the bar is low.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot of these other interfaces have the first mover advantage. And it's a friendly,
Yeah.
like I said, this community is so friendly. Like there were actually some interface owners that reached out to us to say, if you guys need any help while you're building LeoDex, let me know, which is like a very different lens than what we're used to in this space,
Yeah,
which is
for
like people
real.
competing with each other, everyone being, kind of hating on each other and being very tribal. The Maya community is very much like, hey, if you need something, let me know. I can help. Um, and, like I said, our goal is to make the easiest, cleanest, best user experience possible. And I think when that kind of takes more shape and you start to see more features added to LeoDex and you see that the overall experience becomes more refined, and bug free, it's going to be, it's just going to be a takeoff moment for all these metrics. You can actually already see that LeoDex is number 5 on swap count. It's already climbed to number 5. So we're right behind AsgardX in terms of number of swaps. So obviously that's already pretty crazy. And that's pretty much just from like a small, like I said, there's only about 10 to 15 of you guys that are using LeoDex right now in the past 7 days to help us kind of test different swaps and test different things. So pretty insane to see that already kind of taking shape. I think that's just going to continue to grow. Uh, Kalu Samuel asks, do liquidity providers on Maya protocol get rewarded? Yeah, so on Maya, rewards are organic. The yield from pools is organic yield, which means that it comes from swap fees. So there's a small swap fee every time that a person swaps in a pool, and that swap fee goes to the people that are in that pool. So you can see some pools on. I'll share the link to the Maya scan uh, pools interface. But you can see some pools here that are earning anywhere from like, 3% to like 80% APR. It can vary pretty wildly. And as the Leo Cacao pool gets more traction, more adoption, more swap volume, you'll see that APR grow. And like I've been kind of tweeting this out and talking about it, the more that the Hive aggregator gains volume, the more you'll see the APR go up. I actually think that with the Hive aggregator, Leo's pool on Maya could become the most rewarding pool to be an LP for. Because when you think about it, that pool literally will aggregate anything that's on Hive that wants to move to Maya, or vice versa, has to flow through that Leo Cacao pool. So I think you'll continue to see that grow.
Interesting. I'm looking at the overall swap volume, which is encouraging because the fees is like, oh, that's not like a whole ton of fees. I'm like, and then I'm like, must not be a lot of volume. Then I'm looking at the volume, like, oh no, like Asgard Dex did 7.5 million over the last 30 days. Thor Wallet did 5. Cacao did 2.5. Eldorado did just about 2.5.
Yep.
And then like the fees though, it's crazy. They're all over the board. Like Thor Wallet's
Thor Wallet
top in
cleans house.
fees. Yeah, it's top in fees. It's twice as much as Eldorado in second place, yet it did the second amount of like as the Asgard Dex apparently charges like I don't know what their deal is. They're fourth in fees, but number one
Everyone,
in volume.
yeah, every UI charges a different amount for their
Yeah.
fee. We're one of the cheapest.
It looks like Thor Wallet's dumb expensive.
Yeah, Thor Wallet's pretty expensive. Asgard X is the cheapest option. Um, and I think we're the second cheapest option behind Asgard X. But Asgard X is like an
Yeah, we
open
gotta be.
source, kind of, it's an app
Yeah,
that you have to
yeah.
download. It's
No,
it's a
I
little bit
have
different.
Asgard Dex on my like that's my soft wallet I've used for Rune for like back in the day, and I never do transactions on it. Like I don't like swapping on there at all. Like I use it as a wallet to hold my Rune, and that is it. Outside of that, I really haven't been a fan. Um,
Yeah, I mean
so
it has its advantages, but I also am not the biggest fan, um, just of the way it works. But it does have its advantages, and I do actually use it pretty frequently for certain things.
oh nice. Well, like I said, I mean I use it for its wallet purposes. I haven't really used it for much else. I'm happy with it as a wallet. It's
Yeah,
solid.
no,
It's been great
it's a
for
great wallet. That's also what I use it for primarily.
it's been, for Rune, it's been great. Because I needed some way I wanted to initially put my Rune. And I was like, that's what I found, and I was happy with it. But yeah, their fees are certainly cheap. And then they're just like separate. Everyone else is closer to the same kind of, but yeah, that that's good. Use LeoDex.
Yep,
Fees are
use
less than
LeoDex.
basically
We want to climb these
all the
ranks.
others.
We want to climb these ranks. in the friendly interface war. LeoDex has a really interesting moat around it with the Hive aggregator. That's something that other UIs actually can't build. So it's like, we have this really unique feature, and obviously I want to see it gain a lot of adoption within the Hive ecosystem. And every single swap that you guys do with that Hive aggregator leads to us getting more fees, more swap volume, more swap count on the interface wars. Um, and it's a completely unique route that only LeoDex has. So, having that, having HBD, having SPS, having DEC, just between the Hive aggregator itself, I actually think our volume is going to climb pretty quickly on these ranks. But then obviously our goal is also to start getting people from the Maya ecosystem to use LeoDex as well. And yeah, Tash said just the more activity on LeoDex, the more revenue from fees that is used to buy Leo. Yeah, so if you go, I talked about that at the end of the blog post that was released when we went live, just about 20-30 minutes ago. Um, when so basically on every swap over, the minimum is $150 before we start charging a fee. So actually, if you swap anything under $150, it's fee free. Little tongue twister. So there's no fees on small swaps under $150. Any swap over $150, there's a 0.45% fee that's charged on the swap, and that goes to a LeoDex wallet on Maya, and it's paid to that wallet as cacao. And we take half that cacao, so 50% of it, and we buy Leo with it, and then we pair it with the other 50% and then pool it. So, using Cacao Swap as an example, they made in the last 30 days, they made $11,000 in swap fees. So let's just imagine that we can get to that level, and that would be, $11,000 per month in swap fee revenue. So that's $11,000 worth of cacao that would get pooled up every month in LeoDex. And then 50% of that, so about, $5,500 would buy Leo. So that's organic buy pressure for Leo, and then permanently pool it in the Leo cacao pool. And that liquidity will never get removed. So it is literally permanent liquidity that just constantly grows, mixed with that, organic buy pressure. So it's, very positive for the Leo token, very good ultimately for the economy, to see more swap volume, more swap fees get earned, by LeoDex.
Um, I like this question. Feels a little frisky, but hey, I'm down if people want to step up. Jad said, asked, as users, is there a way for us to set up a Maya protocol related node?
As user, I mean, technically anybody can. You just have to
Yeah,
bond and set it up. Uh, we are planning to launch a LeoDex node for Maya, so uh,
nice.
that will come eventually, and we're gonna run it. You have to bond. I think the minimum bond right now is like $50,000, something like that. Um, so. We'll just have to bond, set up the node, put someone in charge of operating it, and then we'll be a node, one of the many nodes that secures the Maya network.
Bond. Maya bond.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, lots to cover, lots of resources. That post was pretty long today, and it still didn't even cover, half of what I wanted to cover. So there's a lot to cover, and there's a lot that's changing on a daily basis because, like I said, 5 to 12 different updates, tweaks, fixes are constantly going live every single day. We're moving really fast. Like if you guys looked at the UI a week ago and then looked at it today, there's tons of changes, tons of differences already. Um, so very happy with the progress from the team.
Yeah. Um, Jess asked if all coins are recognized on the Maya protocol. And I think
So
just about, I mean, they have a lot. Is it just about everything's on there or?
no, there's how many? There's probably about 25, I think, something like that. Uh 25 assets on there. And
Okay.
they haven't launched the Thorchain aggregator yet. So iJats actually asked, are all Thorchain listed coins and tokens recognized by Maya? And the answer is no, not until they build the Thorchain aggregator. Then all Thorchain assets will also be on Maya. Um, so once they build their aggregator, and this is actually another cool like little. There's a lot of like interesting little symmetries that are going on here. I was talking about the whole Dex vision and how Hive was born and the mission of Maya. There's another little interesting symmetry that Maya is a friendly fork of the Thorchain protocol, and part of their goal is to be a little bit more on the fringe, a little bit more innovative, fast moving. And almost like a you know like very much living like kind of like we're going to integrate things really fast, we're going to try new things, we're going to have experiments, we're going to be trying things like changing the fee dynamics and all sorts of things like that, and a big one being that you can actually bond liquidity units as a node on Maya. On Thorchain you have to bond actual rune. On Maya you can bond liquidity, so it gives Maya a little bit more liquidity efficiency, which I think is a really cool idea. Um, so that's kind of one of the key differences with Maya. But my point is they're launching this Thorchain aggregator eventually. I hear it's like a couple weeks away, potentially, and they're it's kind of like Maya is to Thorchain what Leo is to Hive in a certain way. Leo has long been on the side of trying innovative things, expanding to other blockchains, and now we just launched this Hive aggregator where now we've connected Hive to the Maya protocol, and now you can do L1 swaps with Hive because of this connection with Leo. So again, a nice little symmetry between, kind of like Leo is to Hive what Maya is to Thorchain in a certain way. And I think that's kind of a cool symmetry for us, now that the pool is live and everything. One major feature that is coming to Maya, if you listen to they had their Mondays with Maya yesterday, is streaming swaps. That's the next major update coming to Maya. They don't have an exact timeline for it, but I'm pretty confident it's going to be sometime within the next 2 months. And when streaming swaps go live, that is going to be a breakout moment for Maya, in my opinion. If you look at the history of Thorchain over the last 12 months, streaming swaps went live. And then literally within a few months, we saw record volumes on Thorchain. Last month in March, Thorchain had their biggest month of volume ever. They did $10 billion in swaps, which is astronomical compared to what they were doing before streaming swaps. Um, and I fully expect the same thing to happen on Maya, where streaming swaps will bring this exponential volume to the protocol. And I already have a vision. I'm a pretty big user of streaming swaps on Thorchain, and I have a vision for how we're going to build streaming swaps on LeoDex, and it's going to be incredible. I'm so excited for that, and what it's going to do for volume on all the assets on Maya, the volume for LeoDex as an interface, and then also for Hive, because you'll be able to do streaming swaps with Hive. It is like mind numbing. It's really hard to even grasp what is potentially possible with that. And I put it in the post, like, imagine that some whale with 10 Bitcoin wants to come in and buy 1.7 million Hive, I think was the conversion rate when I calculated that. Imagine that they wanted to do that. Right now, that is virtually impossible. They can go to centralized exchanges and they can slowly add little ladder orders, but the liquidity is so thin on those centralized exchanges. And then they obviously have to move it on chain and they have to do all this stuff. With streaming swaps, imagine a Bitcoin whale coming in and saying, I like this Hive thing. I want a bunch of it. Let me initiate a streaming swap, for $1 million. And then it'll start executing the streaming swap and slowly buy them the Hive. Um, it's really insane to think about what's possible here. As this technology continues to mature, more features are released, and more adoption happens. Mr. Hive said, if LeoDex climbs from 5 to 1, So rank number 5 in the interface wars to rank number 1. What could be the positive outcome to the blockchain and more? That's a great question. So, let's play that scenario out. If LeoDex became number 1 on Maya in terms of swap volume, swap fees, swap count, all that stuff, obviously right now we're number 5. Then, just using Thor Wallet as the example, they earned $30,000 in the last 30 days in swap fees. So, if we were to topple them for the number 1 position, that would be $15,000 a month buying Leo, so organic buy pressure on Leo, and then $15,000 worth of cacao, and then 30,000, obviously, when you pool them together, being permanently pooled in the Leo cacao pool. So that would be $30,000 a month, just steady up and to the right for that pool. And as that pool deepens, it means, like I said, you can have bigger and more efficient Hive swaps, which ultimately leads to the pool deepening even more because on Hive swaps, LeoDex earns a ton of fee revenue. And also, the Leo pool gets for every $1 that's swapped in the Hive aggregator, it equals $2 in Leo dash cacao swap volume. The reason for that is that when you do a Hive aggregated swap, it swaps $1 through the pool, and then that pool needs to be rebalanced. So an arbitrager will nearly immediately come in and do another swap for the exact opposite amount that you did to do that Hive aggregated swap. So every $1 equals $2 worth of Leo volume. And as that volume grows, the APR for being a Leo cacao liquidity provider grows. And like I said, I think if this Hive aggregator gains a lot of traction and volume, I think it could be the Leo cacao pool could be the most kind of richly valuable pool to be in on Maya. And obviously all the other whales and users of Maya are going to see that at the top of the charts and be like, well, maybe I should buy some of this Leo thing and pool it so I can earn, 40% APR or whatever it comes out to be, as that organic volume increases. Mr. Hive, kind of a follow-up. Can the increase in swapping rates and levels increase the price of Leo and Hive? So yeah, like I said, if we were to get that, on your scenario, if we were to get that number 1 spot, that would be $15,000 a month in organic buy pressure on Leo. To buy $15,000 worth of Leo right now is very difficult. You're going to move the price up like 20% by buying that. So the liquidity is very thin. And like I said, 70% is staked. So yeah, it would have an immensely positive impact on the Leo ecosystem, not just in terms of like price, but in terms of like the volume and the name recognition and all of that. There's so many different factors baked in here that are positive for Leo if we see adoption. There's two like critically hard things here. The first is to build the best, most amazing product that we can with LeoDex. And the second is to market that product and gain adoption from 2 major subsets of users. The first subset is Maya users. So we obviously want to see people from Maya protocol start to use LeoDex. The second subset of users is people in the Hive community, especially using that Hive aggregator. Like I said, the goal is to get 10% of the centralized exchange volume that Hive is doing right now. Per month, that's about $70 million. That's how much Hive is traded on centralized exchanges. If we were to get 10% of that, and you exclude every other asset on LeoDex and only look at the Hive, we would be number 1 on swap volume and swap fees. So just keep that in mind. And that is only Hive, doesn't include if people trade Bitcoin or anything else on LeoDex. If only 10% of the Hive centralized trading volume were to move to LeoDex, we would be number 1 on Maya. And what does that mean? Like I said, it's good for the Leo economy. It's good for name recognition. And I think we'll be onboarding a lot of users who become, Leo and Hive curious because every time they come to LeoDex and, maybe they're swapping Bitcoin and Ethereum and other assets, they're also going to see Leo and Hive, listed in all the different places on the DEX. And they're going to get curious about what that is at some point, especially if they start to perform well.
I'm just responding to comments and questions and threads.
Yeah, there's a lot of good questions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's all, stuff obviously related to the LeoDex launch, but obviously there's things related to, just Leo um, functionality on a whole. So, I saw someone talking about pictures and posts, and I guess I don't hit the upload button. I kind of more do the copy paste because I'm doing screenshots, and I haven't had any problems with INLEO putting photos into long form posts. But again, um, dropping them in as opposed to like, hitting like upload.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any problems, and I think most people don't. If you are having problems, as always, make a thread and use the hashtag feedback hashtag, and I watch that every single day. So,
Yep. Yeah, I don't think people use that enough, the feedback tag when they basically are having some kind of issue when it comes to functionality of a post or things like that. Just know that's an option.
Taskmaster, there's going to be no new features this month, so maybe next month. But this month on INLEO.io, it's completely focused on bug fixes. So you guys have probably noticed the UI has gotten a lot more stable this month. We've rolled out, I think, about 20 different bug fixes so far, with many more on the way. Um, but we're entirely focused on just fixing bugs, fixing things that the goal, and I put this literally at the top of the GitHub for the team. Our KPI this month is how long can a user go before they meet some sort of impeding experience on the UI. So something that impedes their experience um, in any way, shape, or form. Our goal is to minimize uh, that in general, and ultimately, like, like literally I measured it for the devs too. It was every 3 minutes before. So every 3 minutes, there was some user getting some form of app error because we have an actual automated bot in Discord. So when you guys see an app error page, it says this was automatically sent to the team. That's just not there for fun. That's true. It actually automatically gets sent to the team, and I literally can read all of those. And I measured it for the devs, and it was every 3 minutes that someone was facing some sort of app error or some sort of error of any kind. And I said, my goal is, can we get that to 3 hours? So 3 hours in between any user on the UI experiences any sort of bug whatsoever. So that is our KPI right now. So that is entirely what the devs are focused on. You guys also probably saw that we removed Google Ads. I'll have to make a blog post kind of talking more about that and also talking about what the future is for our ad platform. But Google Ads was paying us, pennies. I mean, they were paying us nothing, basically for having the ads. And we, in the process of doing all these app error fixes, bug fixes, we found that, somewhere around like 25 to 30% of all errors on the UI were literally coming from the Google AdSense codes. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, I just one day woke up and I was like, you know what? The ads are not paying us enough to make it even worthwhile to have all these errors. So do away with them for now,
Well,
and let's build out our own ad platform.
maybe that's what has solved my UI experience issue because I just don't care. Like, because I long form post mainly still. I thread here and there, and every time over the last, I don't know how many weeks, when I submit a thread, the next screen is some like whatever, like error with like code. And then I'm just like, whatever, because I hit the refresh button and like my thread still shows up. So I didn't care because at the end of the day, it's executing still. But live testing, I just put up a thread about chilling on the launch party AMA with a link to the threadcast. And sure enough, went through no problem, no error, and my thread is showing. I didn't have to do any kind of dance. So who knows? Google Ads removed, maybe that helped. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
I mean, or like
first
I
time I
said,
didn't get that error in weeks.
one of the other, um,
So my duration has gone past 30 seconds. We'll see if we can get it to 3 hours. What do I got to do to test 3 minutes? I'm gonna stop poking around. Everything else usually works for me. That's the only issue I've ever really had recently is, when I post a thread, just getting that error screen, but it
Yeah.
still posts. Everything else is fine. Like, because me, for the most part, what am I looking at? I go to the premium page, I go to my profile, I go to articles, I go to publish for long form. All that works for me without a problem. I don't have any issues. Profile, everything's fine between blog, page, wallet.
Yeah, we've made good
So,
progress. I was just checking to see the time right now of, time in between when a user finds a bug, and it's at about 10 minutes now. So I mean that's already, about a 3x improvement over what it was before. But still, I mean that's a lot of app errors and a lot of issues that people face. Um, it's a lot of work
what's cool?
to find everything.
Oh, 100%. It's like never ending. It's like one of those lifetime battles, so to speak. Um, I went to the leaderboard for the first time in eons, and what's cool is I don't recognize half the names, which is good because I used to know all the names. So that means there's fresh blood and more people getting active, and like obviously I see like Taskmaster still up in the top five for you know engagement and votes allocated and threads and whatever. But like I see some names I haven't seen before. So that's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean we've been
Uh,
slowly accumulating some new users, some new power users. It's
yeah,
been good.
we got someone that's actually out threading Taskmaster. I don't know who Milan is, but they are threading more than Task, which is impressive. I didn't realize why his agent threaded so much. He's got 80 threads, or he got a score of 80. I don't know exactly how this thing calculates. Comments. Wow. I don't know who Nocturi is, but their comment game is next level. The next closest person is, I can't even do that math. Yeah, they're 4x times more comments than the second place person. That is some activity.
Taskmaster is saying add in all the Hive engine tokens that people want to swap out of. Yeah, I mean
Oh yeah, I was saw that.
we're gonna add I mentioned it in the post, but we're gonna add so right now you can swap Hive into any token on the UI. We're gonna are the That's the one route that's live for Hive. We're refining it, we're testing it, we're making sure it works really well. After we're confident with how it's working, probably the next few days, we're going to add the other side of that route, which is going to be to buy Hive to swap from any token on Maya into native Hive is going to be the next route that we add. Um, and then after we do that, the goal is to add SPS, deck, and HBD. So I'm not sure the order of that yet. We may focus on SPS and deck first because I think they'll be easier than HBD. But those are
Someone was asking about SPS.
yeah, SPS will get integrated. We already talked with Yaba P Matt about obviously he's the kind of leader over on Splinterlands, and we were talking to him about listing SPS and deck. So and they have insane volumes, by the way. So you you heard me talk about if we get 10% of the Hive centralized trading volume, that doesn't include the HBD trading volume and the SPS and deck volume. SPS and deck do a surprising amount of volume. I mean, it's insane. Um, so I'd love to capture some of that volume for LeoDex, and obviously
That actually,
give
yeah, huge.
yeah, and give, the Splinterlands community access, into and out of L1 tokens with their SPS and deck. I think that's
Well, won't
huge.
that be a more like little? Because here's the thing: like the easiest way to capture, activity is when it's super desirable. And like I'm not well versed in Splinterlands anymore. But from what I remember, as far as getting in and out of it, I mean, what are their options? I know like what is it?
I mean, they have some
What
exchange listings and pools in
they
various
have what?
places.
Yeah, I know there's a couple of blockchains that they can operate on, but I feel like it's still not like super desirable. I don't know. I feel like that
I mean,
I could see
I
this.
think using LeoDex is going to be the easiest way when it's
That's what I'm
live.
saying. I think that there's incentive for the Splintlands community to use LeoDex. I think it's going to be a better user experience and more and just cleaner and more direct.
Yeah, I agree for sure.
I think that'll be huge. That actually might be where LeoDex sees a good chunk of volume from.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could easily be more volume than what we see on Hive. I mean, I think the SPS deck volume could be huge.
So as of right now, like you said, you can sell Hive. So we're not talking about like swap Hive. We're talking about like straight Hive, right?
Straight Hive. Yeah.
Okay.
But it
And
goes
then when
through
you can,
SWAP.HIVE, but the UI does all of that for you.
oh, okay.
So the actual way that the route works, and you guys should really try it. And Nifty posted a video of how it works. Um, so the way the route works is it goes from Hive, native Hive, to swap.hive, and then swap.hive into Leo, and then Leo into Leo on Arbitrum, and then Cacao, and then whatever output you chose, like Bitcoin, ETH, whatever. But all of that happens entirely on the back end. Um, so
So now,
you literally just click a couple buttons on the front end and it just happens.
okay, so I guess I'm going to ask because I'm sure there's other people that have this same like trepidation. When it comes to the stuff that Maya protocol essentially is the back end, right? I don't think anyone's worried about the functionality with that. Now, when it comes to the piece where we're talking about moving from like Hive to swap Hive and all that, now that is that now become like Hive-based back end? And if so, how do we not run into a lot of the same issues that we deal with, you know, Hive nodes taking a shit and all that stuff?
Um, I
And
don't,
does that
I,
question even make sense?
yeah, I mean, I don't think, I personally don't think it's going to be a big issue because of the way the route works. I just don't. Also, we have our
Okay,
own Hive node now, which we didn't have in the
sweet.
past. So, yeah, I mean, I have yet to have a transfer fail, a Hive swap fail because of a node issue or anything related to it. The two issues that we had, which were actually fixed this morning, were related to slippage on the diesel pool, and we found a fix for that. And then the other one was related to when you go from Hive to swap.hive, the fee that's calculated is kind of unreliable. And we also fixed that issue, uh, this morning as well. So yeah, I mean, I haven't seen any issues related to nodes specifically.
Cool. Well, I mean, once SPS and Deck is live, obviously we want to make sure that we get that word out to the Splunklands community. I mean, which I'm sure is not hard given the existing relationship, but whatever they still, I don't know what they. I'm assuming there's got to be some kind of broadcast slash show or something Splunklands related, right?
Yeah. Yeah, a nomad will be on top of that to
Noise.
he's got to clinch all the partnerships. Yeah, I sent him a message yesterday because I saw something with Eldorado partnering with an Arbitrum Twitter account that had a lot of like 80,000 followers or something. And the marketing opportunities that LeoDex opens for the entire INLEO ecosystem is insanely massive. Um, so, for example, now that Arbitrum's integrated, any project on Arbitrum, any token that's listed on Maya that's on Arbitrum, which is about 15 different tokens, they all become potential marketing partners for us. So we can do a bunch of cross marketing. We give them value by having them listed on LeoDex. They give us value, with attention and obviously potential trading volume. Um, there is a lot of crossover opportunities that have now just been opened up with the launch of LeoDex. It's up to us to just really figure out how to go after them and get those opportunities.
Indeed.
Going through the What happened to my threadcast window? Disappeared.
Yeah, I'm just seeing different things. Simi said, add some gaming token on Ethereum chain so that traffic would come to LeoDex. Not a terrible idea. What else do we have?
Uh,
Ah,
iJets asked a question. Could the SPS deck integration be gamified? For instance, introduce
yeah.
rewards for SPS and deck liquidity providers. There's no reason. So I think this is going to be a confusing thing for a lot of people to kind of grasp with everything that's happened in DeFi up until now. With the aggregator, and I keep saying that the Leo listing on Leo Cacao is the listing to end all listings, because with that listing, there's no need for an SPS or deck pool. There's no need for a Hive pool. There's no need for an HBD pool. You have the Leo Cacao pool, and then you have the Leo Hive pool, and then all those assets like SPS, deck, HBD, Hive, are paired with Hive. Obviously, in Hive's case, it's already paired with Leo. So the fact that there is the Leo Cacao pool and there is the, asset dash Hive pool on the Hive blockchain, and then we've built the aggregator rail to connect the two, that means that there's no need for any more pools. So there's just the pools that are there, those two, the Leo Cacao and the Leo Hive. And those two pools are really all that matters. So there's no reason to build out all these different, interest bearing mechanisms and whatnot. There's no reason for that. So uh, it's very, you've got these two pools, and building depth in those two pools is all that matters now. And then everything else can be aggregated across it. Bradley Arrow, who is nervy buying up a lot of Leo today? He is a arbitrager. So if he's buying Leo, he's probably just selling it on another exchange.
Dude, I gotta be honest. I obviously know, you know, what arbitrage is. I've arbitraged things in my life, but I always get annoyed and almost feel dumb when I'm like, why can't I manage to figure out how to arb like in the crypto land, like more than random manual arbs. So you got the arbors there serving that purpose to keep things in balance. It just seems like a nice little place to be.
Yeah, arbitrages are not bad when they keep things in balance. They're bad when they destabilize systems and
Oh yeah.
extract value.
But I'm assuming anyone that's like kind of arbing pools is has that automated.
Oh yeah, that's all automated for sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just don't like that's out of my realm. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, it's not actually that hard. The hard part about it is efficiency and being faster than the, person next to you. So usually it's just the
Yep.
fastest that wins.
Yep.
Simple Game said, how do we know which pool needs more liquidity? Right now they both do, but in the future, that's a good question. So like I said, the two pools that matter most now are the Leo Cacao pool and the Leo Swap.Hive pool on Hive Engine. Um, so if you look at the efficiency of a swap from L1 Hive to any other asset, that the efficiency is largely based on the liquidity depth of the shallowest pool. So it's almost like the weakest link in the chain is the pool that needs the most attention, obviously just from a logic standpoint. So, for example, if there's $1 million in the Leo Cacao pool, but there's only $100,000 in the Leo Swap.Hive pool, then the efficiency of a swap is only as good as $100,000. Obviously it helps to have bigger liquidity on Leo Cacao, but you're going to be facing a lot of slippage on the, $100,000 pool. So you kind of want to see both pools grow simultaneously. You want to see Leo Cacao, grow obviously to a large amount, but you also want to see Leo Hive grow to a large amount if your end goal is to see bigger and more efficient L1 Hive swaps. So the short answer to that is how do you know which pool needs more liquidity? You can literally just look at the dollar value of liquidity in both of the two pools. And if, say, one is a lot higher than the other one, then you know that the other one probably needs some more attention because it's the weakest link in the chain, like I said, that needs attention.
And right now, what is it? You said the two main pools are Cacao, Leo, and what was it? Hive?
Leo swap.hive on Hive Engine.
Gotcha.
So Leo dash Hive on Hive Engine has $33,000 in it right now. So obviously we need some attention there to do bigger, to facilitate bigger L1 Hive swaps. And then the Leo Cacao pool, let me check and I'll give you guys the link so you can check yourselves too. The Leo Cacao pool is at $82,000 right now. And there's the link you can track. So, with the launch today officially being live, you can now go to LeoDex and you can go to the deposit page and then you can put Leo in and then deposit Leo with Cacao. Um, yeah, nifty. TLDR, if you have Leo just sitting around, add it to the Leo Cacao pool. Yeah, we definitely need more liquidity there. Right now, I think me and maybe a few other people are the primary liquidity providers. I don't know how much I've provided so far, somewhere around like 70K of the 80K that's in there. So um, definitely need more LPs to jump in the pool.
Yep. Well, once I get off this call, like I said, I'm gonna create a new key store and get going on that because I certainly have Leo chilling. I mean, I got some Hive chilling too. That's why I was thinking about pulling that as well. But I don't know. My brain is acting like a complete noob when you're talking about liquidity on Hive Engine. I'm like, huh? Like, I don't, what do you mean? Like, I can add liquidity where? On Hive Engine?
Yeah, you can.
I didn't
If
even
you
know that
want
was
to
a
if you want to
thing.
provide Leo dash Hive liquidity, you can do so on Hive Engine. BSwap has a good way to
Didn't
do
even
that,
know.
a good UI for it.
Oh, yes. That on BSwap, yeah. I know how to do it.
Yeah, BSwap. I mean, BSwap's obviously my favorite interface. There's really only two interfaces for Hive Engine these days, and that is BSwap and uh, Tribal Dex. Um, and I definitely prefer BSwap. Yeah, simple game said Tribal Dex or BSwap.
Yes. And Simple Game needed to state the obvious that I need to do some coding if I want to automate. I'm just like, yes, sir. That's always been the problem. Cat doesn't know how to code, nor does he want to learn at all how to code.
Mr. Hive said, "What is the statistical use of LeoDex by Hive users, and how do we improve the use of it?" Um, it's kind of difficult to track exactly who's a Hive user and just who's a, LeoDex user in general. I would say, and I'll drop this link again on Myascan, you can track the just usage of LeoDex in general. And just I would just track the overall usage. So it's kind of unclear to say, how many of them are Hive users. Uh, but you'll be able to see just how much volume there is in general. And obviously every dollar of volume of Hive that gets traded through LeoDex is going to show up on Myascan as LeoDex swap volume. And I'm gonna record a tutorial, I think, of swapping Hive to Cacao, and then wrapping Leo and providing liquidity and kind of showing that route because I have a feeling that's what a lot of people are gonna do. For example, like when you guys earn Hive, for blogging and whatnot, if you wanted to say take like 50 Hive that you just have sitting in your wallet, you could just swap Hive to Cacao using LeoDex. It's super fast, like it'll take you 20 seconds, and it's easy and the fees are really low. Um, and then you can just swap it right into Cacao and then provide liquidity. So If every lion in the community started doing that on a regular basis, we could definitely build up some good liquidity and volume. A simple game. Yeah, it's just Hive swaps right now, and there's only one Hive route, and that is to go from Hive to any other token listed on Maya. Um, so it's just the one route. Basically, you can sell Hive into any other token, and then the next route that we do is going to be able to buy Hive with any other token. But like I said, we want to test and really bulletproof that first route before we add the second one. And then once we have the second one, we'll bulletproof the second one. And then once those two are like fully, 100% set in stone, bulletproof, don't have any issues, then we'll roll out, SPS, deck, and HBD. And those will be pretty easy to integrate once we have the two routes, completely, you know, 100% working.
Ah, Lewis 88 community trading contest coming up.
Yeah, so we're gonna announce
Make it feel
this.
like Mech C.
We're gonna announce this maybe in the next couple of days. There is going to be a volume-based airdrop for people who use LeoDex. So based on how much trading volume you conduct on LeoDex, you'll get an airdrop of Leo on Arbitrum. So we'll announce the details of how that'll work. But it's going to be very much targeted towards obviously you guys, but then also towards the Maya community. It's a big thing that a lot of dexes do when they first launch Dex interfaces. They do an airdrop for people that it's a volume based airdrop. They call it like a vol drop. So, see you later, simple game. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for the good questions. And yeah, he said thank you for building this. And this has been a huge, and I know that, there's been some backlash over some of the other things that we've done to try to get to this point. But it sometimes takes doing things the wrong way in order to find the right way to do them. And I've always wanted, like I said, Hive, HBD, and Leo to be listed on decentralized exchanges. I'm a huge believer in that. It is one of like my core missions in crypto. It is related to, decentralizing the trading of crypto. After everything that happened from Steam to Hive as well, like my trust in centralized exchanges is very low, and I've wanted to see that volume move to dexes. And we've tried to do it with other BHBD, Beehive. We try to do it with those, and obviously I think those were just flawed models. But it was the best that we had at the time. Um, and now we've entered an era where Leo is listed on CACAO, uh, or it's paired with CACAO, listed on Maya, and we've built this Hive aggregator, and now you can do L1 native Hive swaps with other L1 assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum. So my vision has finally kind of come to fruition where this is now possible. So you can now trade, say $100 worth of Hive into like Bitcoin, ETH, whatever. And now it's about scaling that because I think all the technology is in place. We're going to keep improving it. And now really the key is, scaling liquidity and ultimately facilitating bigger and bigger swaps.
Indeed. And at the same time, you know what? Not everything that is built is going to be successful. And a lot of times, most shit isn't going to be successful, but that's what leads you to the thing that is successful. And I was listening to a clip from Alex Hormozy the other day, and he was just like saying how he pretty much had like nine things fail before he, had his first big success. And that dude is absolutely crushing it.
Yeah, that's just a part of that's a part of the game. You even look at like Amazon, Tesla, uh, it's not just a straight line upwards. There's ups and downs, especially when you're a startup, especially when you're doing things related to new cutting edge technology.
Oh, 100%. And especially when you're talking about emerging, industries, so to speak. And, sometimes it's like, all right, is this going to be something or is it just going to be a flash in the pan? And it's like, DeFi is a emerging industry, but some of the things within DeFi turned out to be like, nah. So obviously, like yield farming never really had longevity.
Right.
It was just, it just wasn't set up to survive. Um, I got a kick out of One Up Cartel's comment. He's like, so direct Hive swap into whatever is listed on LeoDex is now live. I'm scared to try. Hey,
Uh,
listen, bro, someone's gotta be the test dummy.
yeah, I mean, we've been testing pretty heavily the past couple
Small,
days.
small.
Yeah, definitely test small. You can do as little as like 15 hive. So I would say do like a 15 hive to like
Um,
uh
listen, I'm
pick,
gonna do that shit
pick a token with a low
and
gas fee like USDC Arbitrum, for
I'm gonna do
example.
that shit right after this call. As soon as I set up that new key store wallet, I got some liquid Hive. I'm gonna try and swap that shit, see how it works.
Yeah, right now
Although
you
we're sort of doing
actually, if you were to do, huh, 7.8 might be a little arbitrage here. Wow.
uh-oh,
If you did a
free
little,
money.
if you did a 25 Hive to USDC Arbitrum swap right now, you would get a better price on LeoDex than you would on a centralized exchange, by about a quarter of a percent.
Boom, boom,
So,
free juice.
yeah, I
Well,
mean,
it's
I
two
think it's
o'clock.
it's going to take people using this stuff, getting familiar with it, to get comfortable with it. It's a new
Oh,
thing.
100%.
Yeah, and that's how it was. When I first found Thorchain, it was on multi-chain chaos net, and it
Yep,
literally was chaos. I mean, it was like
it really was.
90% of the time you tried to swap or do anything, it would fail. But the technology continued to improve. And the first time I had a successful swap of like Bitcoin to Ethereum happen, I was like, holy shit, like this is a game changer. This is what I've been waiting for the crypto ecosystem. And ever since then, Rune has been one of my, if not the biggest bag in my crypto portfolio. You know, these days I actually have more Rune than I have Bitcoin, um, because I'm just so confident in this cross chain Dex future. And now I own a lot of cacao. Obviously, I have a bunch of cacao in the pool as well, but I've been loading up on cacao because I'm very excited about what they're doing. It's very complementary to Thorchain, and I'm really happy with the way that things have gone, with this Maya listing, and that Leo Cacao pool now being live is awesome. So once we jump off this call, I'm gonna drop another like maybe $10,000 in the Leo Cacao pool. And then I'll keep stacking up in there. Hopefully we start to see other people LP in there. You can do so from the LeoDex UI. Obviously do small amounts, play around with things, get familiar with them. Uh, this is still open beta, by the way, too. So we even put the beta next to the logo, just so you guys know. It's a reminder, test with small amounts. Maybe before you do a big amount, do a small amount first. Make sure it's all working correctly.
Yep. Cool.
Sweet. So much to cover, so little time. There's going to be a lot of blogs, a lot of videos. We'll try to just do our best. I need your help as community members. If you guys can make any content, about things and how they work, and your experience with everything.
Yes.
Definitely very helpful.
And
And we will, like Mitch was saying earlier, he's been noticing a lot of curation headed towards those types of posts.
yes. And, speaking of content and information outside of AMA, there are other outlets. So you have Chain Chatter on what, Mondays,
Chain Chatter is on Wednesdays,
Wednesdays? What time?
noon Eastern, but it's not every
All right.
Wednesday. It's only when we have, some guests lined up. So,
Okay.
we haven't done one in a little while. But I think we're gonna do one soon. Maybe not tomorrow, but maybe next week we'll do one. I'm gonna try to get uh, some of the other Maya apps and community members and see if we can do a little Maya episode next week.
That'd be badass. And then is there any other outlets or whatever that people should be aware of, or is it mainly those two, this and Chain
In
Chatter?
terms of, yeah, in terms of like live shows each week, those are the two. Obviously, all of the content that we do gets clipped up and then posted on my blog on Hive. So you guys can find, I'm sure you already know, but pretty much every day some sort of clip gets posted on my blog. So if you want like the more short and sweet, like 3 to 10 minute clips of things, that's always there.
Yes, little TLDR
Yep.
snippets.
Yep. Absolutely.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, I mean, it's good to just get that out there because I mean, I've seen apparently there's people that have been on INLEO for a year or two and didn't even know Chain Chatter existed. So I'm like, well, that's not good. Gotta get the word out. So
Yeah, I wish Chain Chatter was a
yeah,
little more consistent. You know, as we get more
that's
guests,
fine
I think
though.
that will be it'll get there.
Obviously, you have, the episodes posted that have previously been recorded, so people can check them out.
Yep.
But cool. All right. Well, we
Oh yeah, Lions Den every Friday, hosted by Taskmaster. I'm usually
there you
listening in the
go.
live audience. Um,
See, more. I knew there was more.
yep, Lions Den every Friday.
There you go. Good old task on Friday. I forget what time that is. Is that like noon or something?
I think he does it around noon,
Or 11?
something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely like it's not like late in the day. I know it's
No, it's
earlier.
pretty. Yeah, it's like early afternoon Eastern time, I think.
Yeah. Cool, cool. All
Sweet.
right. Well, until next time,
Yep.
swap early, swap often, pool early, pool often.
Yep. Go play around with LeoDex, even if it's a little scary. Use some small amounts, have some fun with it. We are in open beta. Taskmaster said 1 p.m. I'm assuming that's Eastern.
Yep.
Sweet. Thanks, Mitch. Thanks, everybody. Spread the word about LeoDex, and we'll see you guys next
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Try and break it.
Try to break it and then give us feedback so we can fix it.
Boom. All right.
Sweet.
Everyone be good.
See ya.